Okay, I do want to do just one more example word problem before we move on from these. So we're going to move on from this topic after this. And that's question 7 on page 172 of your book. Now what I'm going to do, rather than writing it down, and you guys don't have to write it down into your notes either, you can just note that that's the page of the book that it's on, and I'll put a screenshot of it up in Google Classroom for you as well. Save us all some writing time. So what you might do is pull up that screenshot at the same time, or open your books to page 172 so you can see the question in front of you. Pause the video if you need to do that now. Right, so we are told that there are X tents and Y caravans on a campsite, and that each tent can hold 3 people, so 3 people per tent, and each caravan can hold 8 people. And altogether, there are 180 people on the campsite. So they want us to write an equation in X and Y to show this information. Now, we haven't been told the total number of vehicles or the total number of housing units or whatever we want to call them. So this isn't quite the same as the total number, total value questions that we've done before this. What we do have though is the value. So we know that there's 3 people per tent, 8 people per caravan. So for part A, we can write down that 3 times the number of tents plus 8 times the number of caravans will give us the total number of people. So we can use the total value portion of the information. And that gives us one equation from part A. So hopefully everybody's able to do that. The second piece of information then that we were given was that each tent requires an area of 40 meters squared, and each caravan requires an area of 100 meters squared. And the campsite has a total area of 2,300 meters squared. So now we need to write a second equation in X and Y using this. And what this is this is like a second total value question, but now the value is area instead of people. So we can say that 40 times the number of tents plus 100 times the number of caravans will give me my total area, 2,300. And that is my second equation. We could, I just want you to notice, we could simplify this equation by dividing everything by 10. If I divided everything here by 10, in fact, we could divide everything by 20, because 20 goes into everything. And remember, you can do anything you want to an equation so long as you do it to all parts. But we don't need to, we can just work with bigger numbers. Use your equations from parts A and B to solve and find the number of tents and caravans on this website. So, which one will we cancel, X or Y? It honestly doesn't matter whatsoever. Let's cancel Y for a change, just to change it up. If you do this differently and you want to cancel X, just to kind of get used to doing it the same way, or to stick with doing it the same way every time, you can try that out yourself. So I'm going to say that I'm going to cancel Y. And hopefully you can see that 8 goes into 200. So 200 divided by 8 is 25. So I could multiply this equation by 25. And 100, of course, goes into 200 twice. So I could multiply this equation by 2. Now, if you ended up multiplying this equation by 100 and this equation by 8, it's fine. You'll have bigger numbers, but you'll get the same answer in the end. So don't worry if you can't spot your LCM like that. So I'm going to cancel Y, and I'm going to do it by multiplying equation 1 by 25, and then subtracting equation 2 and multiplying it by 2. So you can say I'm multiplying it by minus 2 if you like. The important thing is That's a very long bell, sorry. The important thing is that I need to have the same number in front of y. So I need the same number and different signs. So I'm reminding you now of why we're doing this. Same number and different signs in front of y, because y is what I'm trying to cancel. So everything must get multiplied by 25 here. 75x plus 200y equals 180 by 25, 4,500. I'm going to change the sign and multiply by 2 here. So I will have 2 times 40 gives me 80x and make it negative. 2 times 100 is 200y and change the sign, minus 200y. That's important, that's exactly what we wanted. And finally 2300 multiplied by 2 is 4600 and change the sign, and there we go. So now the y's cancel, which is what we wanted. I've got negative 5x equals negative 100. 4,500 minus 4,600 gives me minus 100. Divide across by that negative 5. A minus divided by a minus is plus. So minus 100 divided by minus 5 is plus 20, which is good because we can't have negative tenths. So we have 20 tenths. And then I substitute back into whichever one of these equations I feel like. 3 times 20 plus 8 times y is equal to 180. So 8y, that's 60, is equal to 180 minus 60. 8y is equal to 120, and y is equal to 120 divided by 8, which is 15. 15. So we have 15 caravans. And those are my answers. Now we're not quite finished. There was a part D. So part D says that the campsite charges €10 per day for a tent and €18 per day for a caravan, and they want to figure out how much money they earn every day on this campsite. So 10 times the number of tents that I have plus 18 times the number of caravans I have gives me the total money that we take in. 10 by 20, 200 plus, and you could do these in separate equations and then add them together, or you can do it all in one go. Plus 270 gives us a total income of €470 per day. Okay, so that's the last word problem we're going to do with these linear equations and simultaneous equations. Hopefully you're feeling okay about them. If you are still struggling, that's okay. What I'd recommend is maybe leaving it for a month and then coming back to these same notes and videos and trying them out again if you're finding them confusing. Your brain does an awful lot of work by itself, and it honestly can learn how to do things even when you give it a bit of a break and come back later to something that you've learned before. Okay, so hopefully everyone's feeling okay about these right now. I do appreciate that they're difficult. Thank you.